Picture this: Sarah, 28 years old, college degree, works 60-hour weeks, always says yes when her boss dumps extra projects on her desk, never asks for a raise because that would be selfish, lends money to friends who never pay her back because saying no would make her mean, buys expensive gifts for everyone's birthday while her own bank account flatlines at $300. Sarah is nice. Everyone loves Sarah. And Sarah is completely, utterly broke. Now here's the question that's going to haunt you for the next 30 minutes. What if niceness isn't a virtue, but a cage? What if the very qualities that make you good, your generosity, your humility, your desire to please, are the exact things keeping your bank account in chains? Welcome to the shadow side of money. Carl Jung, the godfather of analytical psychology, talked about the shadow self, that dark, repressed part of your psyche that you refuse to acknowledge, the greed you deny, the selfishness you suppress, the ruthlessness you're terrified to embrace. And here's the brutal truth. Your shadow doesn't disappear because you ignore it. It sabotages you. It whispers in your ear every time you're about to negotiate a better salary. Don't be greedy. Don't be difficult. Just be grateful. In the next 25 minutes, we're dissecting 8 hidden reasons why nice people stay broke. Not because they're lazy, but because their own minds are waging war against their wallets. And more importantly, I'm giving you the dark overrides, the psychological hacks to weaponize your shadow and finally break free. Subscribe right now, because what we're about to explore isn't feel-good fluff. This is psychological warfare against your own self-sabotage. Let's descend. Reason number 1, the people-pleasing tax. People-pleasers suffer from approval addiction. You've internalized the belief that your worth depends on others' acceptance. Every yes triggers dopamine. Every boundary triggers anxiety, because rejection feels like death. So you undercharge. You work for free. You let clients walk all over you. Each act of generosity feels like love, but it's actually tribute, a tax you pay to feel worthy. Vincent van Gogh sold exactly 1 painting during his lifetime. He gave his work away, desperate for acceptance from peers who never gave it. He died broke. His paintings now sell for hundreds of millions. The cognitive bias? Loss aversion, not fear of losing money, but fear of losing relationships. The pain of potential rejection outweighs the pain of poverty. Quick test. A friend asks to borrow $500. They've never paid you back before. Do you say yes immediately and feel anxious? Make up an excuse? Or say no directly? If you picked the first 2, your people-pleasing shadow controls your wallet. The dark override, the villain reframe. Every time you're about to say yes to a financial request, ask, would the villain version of me do this? Not to be a villain, but because that archetype represents unapologetic self-interest. Role-play your shadow. When negotiating salary, channel Machiavelli. Practice saying, I'm worth more than this, and if you don't pay me, your competitor will. Feel the discomfort. That's your mask cracking. Gamify rejection. Get rejected 3 times this week by asking for more money. Track it. Celebrate it. You're deprogramming your approval addiction. Every dollar you don't negotiate is a dollar you donated to someone else's wealth at your own expense. Reason number 2, imposter syndrome's wealth ceiling. You want to be rich, but you're terrified of success. Imposter syndrome isn't just self-doubt. It's a defense mechanism. If you believe you're a fraud, you never risk being exposed as one. Staying broke is safe. Psychologists call this self-handicapping. You sabotage yourself preemptively so failure doesn't hurt as much. Wealth means visibility. Visibility means scrutiny. Scrutiny means exposure. So you don't apply for the promotion. You undersell yourself. You procrastinate on invoices. All because a voice whispers, "Who do you think you are?" Nikola Tesla changed the world with alternating current. He died penniless because he repeatedly signed away patents and royalties. He didn't believe he deserved the wealth his genius created. 70% of lottery winners go broke within 5 years. Not because they're stupid, because they have an internal wealth thermostat set to broke. When external wealth exceeds internal self-image, they unconsciously sabotage back to familiar poverty. Test. Imagine receiving $100,000 for work you did. Feel excited? Or anxious? Guilty? That anxiety is imposter syndrome. The dark override, the alter ego architect. Create a wealthy alter ego. Give them a name, a personality. When you negotiate or charge premium prices, channel them. You're not being greedy, they are. Keep a brag file, every compliment, every win. When imposter syndrome strikes, read it. Force your brain to confront evidence. Practice exposure therapy for wealth. Buy something that makes you feel too fancy. Not recklessly, strategically. A nice dinner. Quality item. Your nervous system needs to recalibrate its wealth tolerance. You're not an imposter. You're just terrified of being seen. And that terror is costing everything. Reason number 3. The Martyr Complex. Some people stay broke because poverty has become their personality. The Martyr Complex. You've attached your identity to struggle. You're the person who sacrifices, who goes without. And now your ego is invested in that narrative. Freud talked about secondary gains, hidden benefits of dysfunction. If you're always broke, you get sympathy, attention, permission to fail. Being the victim feels safer than being the victor. If you become wealthy, you lose your identity as the underdog. You lose the moral high ground. So your subconscious keeps you poor to protect your self-concept. Countless artists romanticized poverty as authentic. Being broke meant being pure. Making money meant selling out. So they stayed poor and called it integrity. Do you find yourself almost proud when telling people how broke you are? Do you compete in struggle Olympics? Who's working harder, suffering more? You've confused suffering with virtue. The dark override, the identity assassination. Write down every story you tell about money. I've never been good with money. Money doesn't matter to me. Read them, then burn them, literally. These stories are lies your shadow invented. Adopt a villain identity for 30 days. Be the person obsessed with money, unapologetically. Study wealth, chase it. Feel the discomfort of betraying your old identity. Reframe suffering as weakness, not strength. Say instead, I'm working on eliminating that struggle. Your brain starts solving problems instead of collecting them. You are not your struggles. You're the person who survives them. And survival means winning. Reason number 4, conflict avoidance. Nice people hemorrhage money through conflict avoidance. Your brain treats interpersonal conflict like physical danger. Your amygdala screams. Conflict equals rejection, equals death. So you avoid negotiations, accept bad deals, don't dispute charges, don't fire underperforming employees. Steve Wozniak, Apple co-founder, brilliant engineer, terrible negotiator. He sold stock cheap, gave shares away, let Steve Jobs structure deals favoring Jobs. Wozniak avoided conflict. Jobs became a billionaire. Wozniak left billions on the table. Harvard research shows people who don't negotiate their first salary lose over $500,000 by retirement. $500,000. The cost of one uncomfortable conversation. Scenario: your client is 3 months late on payment. Do you send a firm demand, a gentle reminder with apologies, or nothing? Your answer reveals your conflict avoidance tax rate. The dark override. Weaponized boundaries protocol. Reframe conflict as protection, not aggression. You're defending your resources. Say, I'm protecting my time, my money, my energy from people who don't value it. Script your confrontations. Write exactly what you'll say. My rate is X, non-negotiable. I need payment within 7 days. Practice until it's mechanical. Manufacture low-stakes conflict monthly. Dispute a bill. Send back food. Ask for a discount. Condition your nervous system to tolerate confrontation. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." In money, respect beats affection. People pay people they respect. They exploit people they love. Reason number 5. Guilt about wealth. You believe being poor makes you morally superior. Religious messaging. Easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Cultural narratives. Eat the rich. You've internalized these. Wealth feels sinful. This belief allows you to feel superior while staying comfortable in failure. You've turned poverty into a virtue signal. I could be rich, but I'm too ethical. 2,000 years of Christianity absorbed this. Poverty equals piety. Wealth equals sin. Millions unconsciously sabotage finances because getting rich would betray their spiritual identity. If you grew up in a community where everyone's poor, getting rich means leaving the tribe. Your subconscious keeps you poor to maintain belonging. Question: have you ever judged someone for being wealthy? That judgment is your shadow. You projecting fears about what you'd become. The dark override. The Robin Hood reversal. Divorce wealth from morality. Money is amoral. It's a tool. Right? My bank balance has nothing to do with my character. Repeat until you believe it. Reason number 6. Perfectionism paralysis. Perfectionism isn't about high standards. It's about fear. You don't launch the business because the website isn't perfect. Don't apply for the job because your resume isn't perfect. And behind it all, terror of judgment. Brené Brown's research shows perfectionism is a shield. It protects you from criticism. If you never put yourself out there, you never fail publicly. But you never succeed either. Leonardo da Vinci left dozens of projects unfinished because they didn't meet his standards. His perfectionism meant the world lost masterpieces that existed only in his mind. Research shows men apply when they meet 60% of job requirements. Women apply when they meet 100%. This perfectionism gap translates to an earnings gap. How many projects have you abandoned? How many sit at 90% complete? Each represents money you didn't make because good enough wasn't enough. The dark override. The 70% rule. Adopt this. Done beats perfect. Launch at 70%. Reid Hoffman said, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version, you've launched too late." Implement forcing functions. Impossible deadlines. Publicly announce launch dates before you're ready. When retreat isn't an option, you finish. Reframe mistakes as market research. Every failure is data. Edison: I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that don't work. Your perfectionism protects you from exposure. But exposure is where money lives. Reason number 7. Emotional spending. You're medicating with money. Bad day? Buy something. Lonely? Online shopping. Anxious? Retail therapy. You're using purchases to regulate emotions you haven't processed. Shopping triggers dopamine. The anticipation activates the same brain regions as drugs. Temporarily, you feel better. But tolerance builds. You need bigger purchases, and debt accumulates. People in financial distress buy the most lottery tickets. Why? Because they're desperate for hope. The ticket provides temporary relief from anxiety about money. It's a paradox, spending money to escape stress of not having money. Treat yourself culture became a daily ritual. Had a hard day? Treat yourself. Made it through the week? Treat yourself. You're confusing self-care with self-sabotage. Check your bank statement. How many purchases were needs versus emotional impulses? That's your self-soothing tax. The dark override, the emotion ledger. Before any non-essential purchase, pause. Ask, what emotion am I trying to fix? Name it. Write it down. This interrupts the automatic pattern. Create an emotion fund. $50 monthly for emotional spending. When it's gone, it's gone. This contains damage while acknowledging the need. Substitute the behavior. Want to emotionally spend? Exercise. Call someone. Journal. Retrain your brain's reward pathways. Freud talked about sublimation, redirecting urges into productive outlets. Redirect away from financial destruction. Reason number 8, scarcity mindset. Final reason, the deepest, you're still living in childhood scarcity. Your money beliefs formed before age 7. If you grew up poor, you absorbed scarcity thinking. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. These messages are lodged in your subconscious. Even when circumstances change, mindset doesn't. You get a raise, you feel anxious. You have savings, you can't enjoy it. You hoard instead of invest. You operate from fear of loss rather than possibility of gain. Psychologists call this financial flashbacks. Your nervous system is still in the past, responding to threats that no longer exist. First-generation wealth stories, people who escape poverty but can't shake the mindset. They make 6 figures but shop at thrift stores out of guilt. It's not frugality, it's trauma. There's poverty mentality, believing there's never enough. If someone else wins, you lose. This zero-sum thinking keeps you from collaborating, which is a pathway to wealth. Do you feel more comfortable broke than having money? Does abundance trigger anxiety? That's your scarcity imprint. The dark override, the abundance reprogramming. Identify your money origin story. What did your parents say about money? Write it down. Then write a new story, the abundance narrative. Read it daily. Overwrite old code. Practice abundance in small ways. Tip generously. Buy the nice version. Say yes to experiences. Intentionally. Teach your nervous system resources flow. Spend 5 minutes daily imagining yourself wealthy. Not just seeing it, feeling it. The calm, security, freedom. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. Jung, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You are not your childhood scarcity. You are whoever you choose to become. And that person? They're wealthy, unapologetic, free. 8 reasons that keep nice people broke. People-pleasing, imposter syndrome, Martyr Complex, conflict avoidance, wealth guilt, perfectionism, emotional spending. scarcity mindset. They're all protection mechanisms. Your shadow built them to keep you safe. Safe from rejection, from failure, from judgment, from change. But safety is expensive, and the price is your potential. Breaking free requires confronting your shadow, not destroying it, integrating it, taking the ruthlessness, the selfishness, the greed you've repressed, and weaponizing them for survival. The world doesn't reward nice, it rewards valuable. If you want to be valuable, stop sabotaging yourself and start playing to win. Your homework: pick one dark override. Just one. Implement it this week. Comment below with results. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means it hit the shadow. Subscribe, share it with someone who needs this. The greatest act of kindness you can do for yourself and those you love is to stop being broke. Next video, we're going deeper. The dark triad of wealth: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and how to ethically borrow from these traits to accelerate income. Remember, your shadow isn't your enemy, it's your untapped power. Now go make your money.